Traveling is meant to be thrilling, full of adventure and unforgettable memories. But sometimes vacations take a dark turn. From daring stunts gone wrong to unpredictable natural disasters, tourists occasionally face fatal mishaps far from home. These tragic incidents remind us that even paradise can hide danger. What started as a dreamlike helicopter ride over the lush cliffs and turquoise waters of Napali coast quickly turned into a chilling tragedy that no one on board could have imagined. On March the 26th, 2026, a sightseeing helicopter carrying a pilot and 4 tourists lifted off for what should have been a breathtaking tour of one of the most beautiful coastlines in the world. It was the kind of experience people save up for, plan for, and talk about for years afterward. These doors-off helicopter rides are especially popular because they offer uninterrupted views of cascading waterfalls, sharp emerald ridges, and the vast Pacific stretching endlessly into the horizon. The atmosphere inside was likely filled with excitement and quiet awe as passengers took in scenery that felt almost unreal in its beauty. But somewhere along that scenic route near Kelalo Beach, something went terribly wrong. And within moments that sense of wonder was replaced by fear. The aircraft went down in a remote stretch of coastline, an area so rugged and isolated that it feels almost untouched by modern infrastructure. There are no roads leading there, no quick access points, nothing but steep cliffs, dense vegetation, and crashing waves, which meant that when the helicopter crashed, help was not just minutes away but required careful coordination. Emergency response teams, including the U.S. Coast Guard, were deployed to the scene, navigating difficult terrain and unpredictable coastal conditions to reach the wreckage. By the time rescuers managed to access the site, the reality had become devastatingly clear. 3 people had lost their lives, and 2 others were injured, struggling to survive in a place where even standing safely is a challenge. The survivors were eventually airlifted out and rushed to medical care, but the emotional and physical impact of such an ordeal is something that does not fade quickly. As investigators, including the National Transportation Safety Board, begin the process of determining what caused the crash, many questions remain. Weather conditions along the Napali coast can change rapidly, with strong winds and shifting visibility creating dangerous flying environments. Mechanical failure is also being considered, along with the possibility that multiple factors may have combined at a critical moment. Helicopter tours in Hawaii have long been viewed as thrilling, yet generally safe. But incidents like this highlight the inherent risks of flying through such complex terrain. The same dramatic cliffs and narrow valleys that make Kauai so visually stunning also create challenges that require constant precision and awareness. For the families of those who lost their lives, the tragedy represents an unimaginable loss, turning what should have been a joyful memory into lasting grief. For the survivors, the experience will remain etched in memory as a stark contrast between the beauty they set out to witness and the reality they endured. In the end, this incident stands as a somber reminder of how quickly moments of awe can turn into moments of fear when nature, technology, and human vulnerability intersect in such an unforgiving setting. In the heart of the Peruvian Andes, where mountains scrape the clouds and roads cling to cliffs like stubborn vines, a routine tourist trip turned into a tragic nightmare on March 22, 2026. A bus carrying roughly 25 eager tourists, many of them dreaming of panoramic landscapes and Instagram-worthy snapshots, found itself on one of the region's notoriously narrow and winding mountain roads. These roads, infamous for their sheer drops, sudden bends, and frequent fog banks, are as beautiful as they are dangerous, and on that fateful day the elements were decidedly uncooperative. Thick fog rolled in like a silent gray tide, reducing visibility to just a few meters ahead, and making every curve and slope a potential hazard. Despite the driver's experience and the passenger's anticipation for adventure, the combination of treacherous terrain and near-zero visibility became a deadly formula. The bus veered off the edge of the road, tumbling down the steep incline, flipping over, and finally coming to rest in a crumpled heap, a grim testament to the unforgiving nature of high-altitude travel in this part of the world. The aftermath was chaotic and heartbreaking. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, navigating the same perilous slopes that had claimed the bus, carrying the wounded up the mountainside to awaiting ambulances. Among the passengers, 9 tragically lost their lives, 7 on the spot, and 2 more succumbing to their injuries in nearby hospitals. 15 others suffered varying degrees of trauma, from broken bones to severe lacerations, and were quickly transported to local medical facilities for urgent care. The crash, though horrifying in its immediacy, also highlighted the challenges of emergency response in remote mountain regions. Ambulances had to traverse narrow switchbacks, sometimes hampered by lingering fog, while medical teams coordinated rescue efforts with remarkable efficiency. Local authorities immediately began an investigation into the incident, seeking to understand the precise sequence of events that led to such a devastating outcome. Though early reports pointed strongly toward the interplay of dangerous terrain and heavy fog as primary contributors. For the survivors and the families of the victims, the crash was more than a statistic. It was a harrowing reminder of the unpredictable risks inherent in travel, especially in regions where natural beauty and danger coexist in stark contrast. Peru's Andean roads, celebrated for their breathtaking vistas, are simultaneously notorious for accidents, and this tragedy underscores why caution is paramount. Tourist buses, despite their seeming sturdiness, are vulnerable on steep cliffs, particularly when weather conditions deteriorate unexpectedly. This incident, while uniquely tragic in its human cost, fits into a broader pattern of accidents in mountainous regions worldwide, a sobering acknowledgement that adventure, however enticing, carries real risks. Yet, amid the sorrow, there were stories of resilience, passengers helping one another, first responders risking their own safety to save lives, and local communities coming together in the aftermath to provide support. These glimmers of humanity offered a measure of solace against the backdrop of loss, illustrating that even in tragedy, the bonds of human solidarity remain strong. Ultimately, the 2026 Peru mountain bus crash serves as a stark, sobering narrative about the delicate balance between exploration and safety. It reminds us that the allure of adventure must always be tempered by respect for nature's unpredictability, and that preparation, caution, and situational awareness can sometimes be the difference between a memorable trip and a life-altering catastrophe. While the 9 lives lost cannot be replaced, the story of the crash and the lessons it imparts will linger in the memories of those involved and the broader traveling public. It is a poignant blend of tragedy and reflection, a cautionary tale from the peaks of the Andes, where awe-inspiring beauty and mortal danger exist side by side, and where every journey demands both courage and care. Imagine packing your bags, leaving behind gray skies and endless office emails, and landing in sun-soaked Cartagena, Colombia, ready for a dream holiday full of cocktails, colorful streets, and maybe a splash in the Caribbean Sea. That was exactly what a group of adventurous tourists were expecting in 2026, blissfully unaware that the sea had other plans. Among them was a British couple on what was supposed to be the ultimate wedding getaway. Love in the air, laughter in the streets, and Instagram stories ready to go viral. Cartagena, with its historic fortresses, cobblestone streets, and palm-lined beaches, seems like the perfect backdrop for vacation photos and romantic sunset walks. But nature, as it often does, reminded everyone that beauty sometimes comes with a twist of danger. Early one morning, a 30-year-old British tourist decided to embrace the Caribbean in all its glory and dive into the sparkling waves, probably thinking about the perfect Instagram shot or just wanting to feel the warm sea against his skin. The tourists around him were likely chatting, taking photos, or floating nearby, thinking the day could not get any better. Then came the twist: rough sea conditions. Strong currents and unexpected waves can turn even the most serene-looking beach into a challenging environment. Before anyone could react, the tourist found himself in trouble, struggling against the powerful water. Fellow holidaymakers panicked, calling for help, while local emergency services raced against time. Despite their swift response, which included lifeguards and first responders, the tourist tragically drowned. It was a heartbreaking moment that shook not just the group of tourists present, but the entire Cartagena community. The incident became a sobering reminder that even paradise has its risks, and that the ocean, while mesmerizing, commands respect. For those following the story, it highlighted the unpredictability of the sea, one moment inviting and playful, the next moment unforgiving and dangerous. Local authorities quickly began an investigation, emphasizing that rough sea conditions played a major role in the tragedy. Friends and family back home were left grappling with the news that their loved one had gone on a joyous adventure that ended far too soon. The tourists' passing also sparked conversations about beach safety, the importance of checking weather and sea conditions, and how even experienced swimmers can be caught off guard. For the wider travel community, it served as a reminder that vacations, while magical, require caution, especially around open water. Yet, amidst the sadness, the story also celebrated the spirit of tourism, people exploring new cultures, making memories, and embracing life's adventures. These tourists were in Colombia to experience everything from the historic charm of the walled city to the vibrancy of local markets. And though this tragedy overshadowed part of their journey, it also highlighted the bravery and curiosity inherent in travelers. Even in grief, there is a lesson for all. Respect nature, plan wisely, and treasure every shared moment with friends, family, or fellow tourists. Cartagena continues to enchant visitors with its beauty, history, and lively Caribbean charm, and the incident, while tragic, reminds future tourists that adventure comes with responsibility. Vacations are about fun and enjoyment, yes, but also awareness and perhaps a little humility before the mighty sea. For those tourists who witnessed or heard about the event, it became a story they will never forget, a moment that mingled awe at the ocean with the harsh reality of its power, a mix of thrill and caution in the vibrant heart of Colombia's coast. Authorities have since urged visitors to always check local conditions and swim in designated areas with lifeguards, advice that might seem simple but is often overlooked in the excitement of travel. The tragedy also brought local communities together, highlighting the importance of emergency preparedness and community support for tourists who are far from home. While the memories of the vacation were forever marked by sorrow, they also reflected the joy and enthusiasm that comes from discovering new places and cultures, celebrating life, and sharing unforgettable experiences with loved ones. Cartagena, with all its charm, will continue to draw travelers from around the world. And this incident, though tragic, serves as a reminder that the most memorable adventures are those approached with respect, mindfulness, and care. Tourists will keep arriving, seeking sun, sea, and smiles, but with a newfound understanding that paradise has its risks, and that each wave, each current, is part of the story they will carry home for a lifetime. In April 2025, what was supposed to be a scenic and serene ride up Monte Fido in southern Italy turned into a nightmare that left 4 people dead and a community in shock. The Monte Fido cable car, a popular attraction for tourists seeking sweeping views of the Gulf of Naples and the surrounding Monte Latari Mountains, had just reopened for the spring season after routine maintenance. Families, couples, and solo travelers boarded the cabins with excitement, cameras ready, hearts light, and imaginations full of Instagram-worthy vistas. Among them were international tourists eager to enjoy a leisurely escape from city life and soak in Italy's natural beauty. Little did anyone know, the day would take a tragic turn, reminding everyone that even the most beautiful adventures carry an element of risk. The cable car system, a feat of engineering designed to glide passengers safely up steep mountain slopes, suffered a catastrophic failure when one of its main cables snapped mid-descent. In an instant, joy and laughter gave way to chaos and terror. A cabin plunged down the mountainside, sending passengers tumbling into danger, while a second cabin was left dangling precariously above the cliffs, its occupants trapped and terrified. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, braving foggy and windy conditions which made the rescue efforts even more complicated. Helicopters hovered above, firefighters and alpine rescue teams coordinated with precision, and anxious family members waited by the base station hoping for any sign of their loved ones. The aftermath was heart-wrenching. 4 lives were lost, including several tourists, and 1 person survived but suffered serious injuries. The victims came from different parts of the world, reminding everyone that tragedies like these do not discriminate and can touch anyone anywhere in an instant. Beyond the personal losses, the incident shook the local community and tourism industry, raising difficult questions about safety protocols, maintenance schedules, and oversight of cable car systems. Investigators immediately began examining the snapped cable, the braking systems, and the maintenance records to understand exactly what went wrong. Was it human error, a mechanical failure, or an unfortunate combination of both? Italy's authorities promised transparency, stressing the need to prevent such disasters in the future. The incident also highlighted the thin line between adventure and danger. Tourists flock to Monte Faito for breathtaking views and the thrill of gliding above mountainsides, yet they rely entirely on engineering, safety checks, and the integrity of cables to ensure their experience remains magical rather than tragic. For a moment, a joyful ride turned into a sobering reminder of how quickly life can change. Families who had come for a simple day trip were suddenly grappling with grief and shock, while survivors faced trauma and a long road to recovery. Even for those watching from afar, the images of the crash, rescue crews dangling from cliffs, the twisted metal of the cabin, and the foggy mountainside left an indelible mark. It was a stark reminder that tourism, while filled with wonder and exploration, is not without risk, and yet the human spirit persisted. Rescue teams acted heroically, communities came together, and support poured in from around the world. The Monte Faito cable car crash will forever be remembered as a tragic event that claimed lives, but it also became a moment that underscored the importance of safety, preparedness, and vigilance in tourism. People will continue to visit Italy's stunning mountains and enjoy cable car rides, but the lessons of April 2025 linger, urging caution, respect for technology, and gratitude for each safe journey. In the end, this tragic incident combined loss, heroism, and reflection, serving as both a warning and a tribute to the resilience of humanity when faced with sudden disaster. It is a story that will be told for years to come, not only as a tragedy, but also as a testament to the courage of rescuers and the enduring beauty of Monte Faito, even in the face of heartbreak. Tourists will return, photographers will continue to capture the views, hikers will tread the trails, and the cable cars will carry people safely up the mountainside once more. But the memory of April 2025 will remain a solemn reminder that life is fragile, moments are fleeting, and safety must always be a priority. In August 2024, a sightseeing trip over Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula ended in tragedy when a Mi-8T helicopter carrying 22 people crashed shortly after takeoff. Among the passengers were 19 tourists eager to explore the region's volcanic landscapes, while 3 crew members were responsible for navigating the notoriously unpredictable skies. The flight had been planned as a scenic tour over the Vachkazhets volcano and surrounding wilderness, promising breathtaking views of one of the most pristine and dramatic regions in the world. However, shortly after departure, the helicopter encountered dense fog and extremely poor visibility, conditions that would soon prove fatal. Within moments, the aircraft collided with the rugged terrain, leaving no survivors and turning what was meant to be a memorable adventure into one of the deadliest helicopter accidents in the region's recent history. The loss of all 22 people on board shocked the local community and drew international attention, highlighting the inherent risks of tourism in remote and challenging environments. The incident underscores the profound dangers that extreme weather can pose to aviation, even when experienced pilots are at the controls. Kamchatka's natural beauty comes with unpredictable conditions. Fog, sudden storms, and low visibility are common, particularly near volcanic regions. According to preliminary investigations, the helicopter's collision with the terrain was primarily caused by limited visibility combined with the challenges of navigating mountainous landscapes. While helicopters like the Mi-8T are widely used in Russia for both civilian and industrial purposes, they remain vulnerable to sudden changes in weather, and this accident demonstrates the narrow margin for error when operating in such conditions. The crash serves as a sobering reminder that adventure tourism, though alluring and visually spectacular, is never without risk. Even brief lapses in situational awareness or minor misjudgments in extreme weather can have fatal consequences. The human impact of the crash was profound. Rescue teams had to navigate the remote and rugged terrain to locate the wreckage, ultimately recovering the bodies of all passengers and crew. Among the victims were individuals from various countries, including notable figures in business and organized tourism, all of whom were seeking an extraordinary experience in Kamchatka's isolated landscapes. The tragedy resonated beyond the immediate circle of families and friends, drawing attention to safety standards in adventure tourism and the importance of rigorous weather assessments before flights. Authorities confirmed that the crash was not the result of mechanical failure, but rather environmental hazards and operational challenges in adverse weather. The incident also sparked wider discussions about the responsibilities of tour operators, pilots, and regulatory agencies in ensuring the safety of tourists in remote regions. While Kamchatka remains a stunning natural destination, the 2024 helicopter crash serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of human life in the face of natural forces, and the need for vigilance, preparation, and respect for the unpredictable conditions of extreme environments.